Hi everyone, welcome to our discussion in mathematics in the modern world. So, the mathematics of our world. So, in this video discussion, I will be focusing on the preliminaries, which involves the nature of mathematics. So, to start with, we have here the concept of Stuart. So, in his book entitled Nature's Number, he said that mathematics is a formal system of thought that was gradually developed in the human mind and evolved in the human culture. So that means to say that even before, with our ancestors, they already had a concept of mathematics. So it's not just in the present times, but even before, in the previous times, they already had or they already knew that math is or was present. And through time, through the years, it evolved and it was incorporated in our culture and in our day-to-day living. Our ancestors were able to gradually develop the science of measures and gained the ability to count, gauge, assess, quantify, and size almost everything. So before, in the olden times, they did not have a formal system already. So they usually used body parts whenever they would like to measure something. Like for example, if for example they found like let's say a snake. So if they would ask how long is that snake, so they would usually say it's the size or it's as long as my arm. Or in the Visayan culture, here in the Visayas, I think you're familiar with the word dangaw. So if we say dangaw or usaka dangaw, it's the length from the tip of the pinky going to the tip of the thumb. So before, they did not say, can I buy 1 meter of cloth or a foot or 2 feet? So they would usually say, can I buy 1 dangaw of cloth or 1 dangaw of paper or such things? So that was before. But eventually, through the years, they wanted to have a more systematic concept in terms of measurement. So that was when the English measurement um, and the metric system was developed. So in the present, we use certain units of measurement, just like foot, meter, centimeter, inches, and such things. So mathematics is present in everything we do. Sometimes we may not notice right away, but it's actually here, present. It is all around us and it is the building block of our daily or day-to-day activities. So much for the nature. We now proceed to the concept that mathematics is a tool. So, mathematics as a tool is immensely useful, practical, and powerful. So, if we say tool, it is something that we can use, something that we can apply. So, you might ask, ma'am, how can we apply algebra? How can we apply 2x plus 3x plus 5y in our day-to-day living? It's actually not like that. What I mean, or what I mean to say when we say mathematics is a tool, is the practical uses, just like a basic counting, basic arithmetic, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Those basic stuffs we can really apply in our day-to-day living, just like going to a store, buying a grocery, giving your fare whenever you're commuting or riding public utility vehicles and such things. So it's not actually the abstract concepts, but it's more on the basic and the practical uses of mathematics in our day-to-day living. So as a tool, it is also about forming new ways to see problems so we can understand them by combining insights with imagination. Even before, when I was in college, I have always believed that for whatever problem that we have encountered, may it be mathematical or not, may it be in your life or any aspect, I always believe that for everything, for every problem, there is and there will always be a solution. We may not get the answer right away, but through time, through patience, in the end, we will be arriving with a certain solution. Mathematics is our sense to decipher pattern, relationships, and logical connections. So if we say decipher, so meaning it is a way for us to better, I'm sorry, it is a way for us to better understand underlying patterns, um, may it be in nature or in any aspect in the world. So it is a whole new way to see and understand the modern world. For example, in flowers, in nature, later on with our discussions, I will be showing you examples that really, even in things that we do not see right away, even if for us it's just a simple thing, there is mathematics in nature and in our world. And lastly, mathematics is a powerful tool in decision making, and it is a way of life. So for example, let's say in budgeting, so of course that's business math. So we will always be, or we can always apply mathematics in that certain aspect for us to be able to decide. So for example, a concrete example, when I go to the grocery to buy like food, fruits, and basic necessities, I always use mathematics since I compare prices. So I usually go or opt with products with a lesser price so that I will have more value for my money. I will be able to buy more stuff since I will be choosing, I will be checking the quantity of the quality, of course, but price wise, I would always choose the item or the product that has a lesser price. So here we have a diagram. So mathematics is A or an. So mathematics is a study of patterns. So when we say patterns, it can be the repetition of shapes and things like that. Mathematics is a language. Just like English, it has certain characteristics that we can consider it as a language. But in this language, it's not more on words, but it's more on numbers and symbols. So if we say 1 plus 2 is equal to 3, that is already a mathematical sentence. So it's a language that is unique to itself. Mathematics is a process of thinking because we will be analyzing problems or situations. Mathematics is an art. So it is an art because we can see beauty in it. I don't know if you've ever tried, but there are times whenever like I'm solving a certain problem and I know that I know this problem and I'm able to solve it. It actually gives me a feeling of excitement, and for me it's very beautiful that in the end I will be able to get and arrive with the correct answer. And lastly, mathematics is a set of problem solving tools. So just like what I've said earlier, it is a tool that we can always apply and use in our day-to-day living. So here we have another concept that mathematics is everywhere. So we use mathematics in our daily tasks and activities. So say for example, It helps us cook delicious meals by exacting our ability to measure and moderately control heat. So, for example, if you're cooking rice, we use proportion, ratio, and proportion, since the amount of rice that you will be putting in the rice cooker should be proportional to the amount of water that you will be putting together with the rice. Because if, for example, you only put 1 cup of rice and you will place like 3 or 4 or more cups, then you won't be able to cook the rice properly. So there are certain measurements that you need to know, so that the outcome of whatever you do will be the desired one. So that's it for cooking, and I know there are still other ways that we can apply mathematics in our day-to-day living. It also helps us to shop wisely. So just like my example, the one that I mentioned earlier, that I always choose good products but with lesser prices, so that I can buy more. It helps us read maps, because in maps there are certain grids, there are certain points, so that we will be able to understand it. It helps us use the computer, because if you had the computer subjects before, it's actually in the history of the computer that the very first computer was really a computing device. So computing meaning it deals with basic operations: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. And later on, with the use of technology, with the imagination, and the imagination of inventors, so we have the computer that we have now. So through mathematics, we can remodel a home with constrained budget with utmost economy. So if you would like to, let's say, build your dream house, so through mathematics, you can budget your money so that you will have an outcome that is fit to your budget, and you will have a good deal for the money, and you will have your house with the necessities that you will be needing. Like, say for example, you want the paint to be white, or you want to have like fences, so that will be taken into consideration. So next we have the essential roles of mathematics. So mathematics has countless hidden uses and application. So yeah, just like what I've said, sometimes we may not see it, but it's actually just in front of our eyes. Mathematics helps us to take the complex processes that is naturally occurring in the world around us, and it represents them by utilizing logic to make things more organized and more efficient. In other words, mathematics will help simplify those complex problems for us to be able to understand it in a certain level that we will be able to grasp or understand. Scientists and researchers use applied mathematics in doing or performing researches to solve social, scientific, medical, or even political crises. So mathematics is not just simply contained in itself. It can be applied in different fields, just like in social aspects, in scientific aspects, because mathematics, by the way, is said to be the language of science. So if you have observed in your physics, in your chemistry subjects, there are applications of mathematics, even in the medical field, also in the political field, and in the field of economics or the economy. And lastly, the use of mathematical calculations is indispensable method in scientifically approaching most of the problems. So going back to the basic concepts and the basic use of math, it is indispensable Therefore, it will always be useful in terms of calculations. Next, we have the mathematical landscape. So there is a region in the human mind that is capable of constructing and discerning the deepest insights being perceived from the natural world. So in this region, the mathematical landscape exists, wherein concepts of numbers, symbols, equations, operations, calculations, abstractions, and proofs are the inhabitants as well as the constructs of the impenetrable vastness of its uncharted territories. I don't know if you have discussed this one before in your science or in your biology subject, but in our brain, there are two sides, the left side and the right side. The left side of the brain is said to be where the analytical concepts it is where it's being processed. So if your left side of the brain is more dominant, it is said that you are good in mathematics, in analyzing certain stuffs. But if you are a right brain, or if your right side of the brain is more dominant, it is said that you are good in language, in the arts. But for the mathematical landscape, so it can be found in the left side of our brain. So try to think. Am I mathematical? Am I good in art? Am I good in languages? So which side of my brain is more dominant? So next, we have how mathematics is done. So if you come across a mathematical problem that you cannot solve, the first thing to do is to identify the components or the operations that it wants you to carry out, and everything follows. So in solving certain mathematical problems, it's not always the case that you will be able to solve it right away. There will be times that we will be encountering difficulties. It won't be easy for us to solve it right away. So what I usually do is I analyze first the problem, what it is asking. So I try to chunk and try to divide the problem into important aspects. So as I simplify the problem and try to make sense of it, so step by step, little by little, so I will be able to carry out and be able to solve the problem until I will arrive with a certain answer. I think you're familiar with this one. In your elementary, or when we were in elementary, if given a problem, you will be asked what is asked, what is given, what is the operation that we will use, what's your mathematical sentence, what's the final answer, and what is our conclusion. So there is a systematic and a step-by-step process so that in the end we will arrive and get the correct answer. So next is for us to solve mathematical problems, it is done with curiosity, with a penchant for seeking patterns and generalities, with a desire to know the truth, with trial and error, and without fear or facing more questions and problems to solve. So for me, even if you're good in mathematics, if you do not have the desire or you do not have the interest to do such problems, to solve such problems, I think it will be really useless, because what's the use of your knowledge or your concepts if you're not interested in that certain field? But even if, let's say, you're not that good, but you're very interested, you're very curious, and you try your very best in order to solve or get the answer. So later on, again, step by step, little by little, slowly, as long as you have the will, you will be able to do or solve and arrive with the correct answers to certain problems. So next, concept is mathematics is for everyone. Everyone uses mathematics in different degrees and levels. Everyone uses mathematics whoever they are, wherever they are, and wherever they need to. So mathematics is not constrained with age. Even if you're young, even if you're an adult, even if you're old, every day of our lives we will be facing concepts, we will be facing problems, or we will be facing situations that deals with mathematics wherever you are, anywhere in the world. You may be in the Philippines or in other countries, there will always be math. So it's actually true that you'll never be able to escape math because it's everywhere. It's for everyone. So from mathematicians to scientists, from professionals to ordinary people, they all use mathematics. For mathematics puts order amidst disorder. So it helps put a system to make things systematic. It helps us become better persons and helps make the world a better place to live in. So, as early as now, try to embrace math. Do not tell yourself that you hate it, because no matter again how you escape, it will always be there. It is present always. So, for our conclusion, we have the importance of knowing and learning mathematics. And according to Stewart, whatever the reasons, mathematics is a useful way to think about nature. What does it want to tell us about the patterns we observe? So there are many answers. We want to understand how they happen, to understand why they happen, which is different, to organize the underlying patterns and regularities in the most satisfying way, to predict how nature will behave, to control nature for our own ends, to make practical use of what we have learned about the world. So mathematics helps us to do all these things, and often it is indispensable. So indispensable meaning we can never do away with it, we can never get rid of mathematics. This world will not be here if there is no mathematics. And I don't know if you have seen a cartoon movie starring Donald Duck. At the end of that movie, there was a saying that according to Galileo Galilei, mathematics is the language with which God has created the universe. So that's it for this discussion. If you have questions, if you have clarifications, feel free to comment your questions on the comment section below, or you can also send it in our group chat. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for listening. You take care always. Bye for now.